To Unfiltered Discussions.
We
We
got
have
Nash in the building.
got Ash in the building.
Let's see. Today, let's discuss the importance of rebranding yourself. And when I say that, I mean the importance of always reinventing, always feeling like it's something else that you can switch up eventually about yourself, whether it's career, whether it's your attitude, whether sometimes it could be work, it could be school, it could be the way you deal with your spouse, like little stuff that has turned into a habit throughout our life that we don't even realize that may be an issue because we're so used to doing it and it don't really become a problem until somebody else points it out, or it's so redundant that we like, oh, this again, are we gonna, you know what I mean? So even down to the fact that I feel like even influencers, whether it's podcasters and whoever, I feel like you always should be getting back to the drawing board and finding something new you should do with your brand, right? Because we're a brand, right? And I know initially with our brand, we started out with bringing and providing a platform for a guest that was up and coming, right? And then we scaled back a little bit, and then we brought forth our issues, right? Things that we may have seen in the new media or things that we may have felt heavy about, things like that. And we always talk about, you know what? It's time for us to implement X, Y, and Z into the podcast now. And I think that's extremely important to rebrand because it keeps you fresh. It keeps your viewers alive and listening and engaged and wanting to say, Dad, what they doing next? You know what I mean? Because like we said from day one, we don't do really listen, gossip and stuff like that. Like people can scroll down their timeline to see that they sell.
Yeah, nothing specific.
You know what I mean? So what's the point of that? We don't do politics and religion. That's always touchy subjects. Stuff like that. I just feel like each time, because this is like, how I feel when I turn another year, right? So I always feel like, oh, this, because our podcast has turned a year already. Ain't that crazy? The podcast is going on 2 years old.
Yeah.
So, that's our little baby. We got to keep nourishing it and things like that. And, I just feel like it's time for us to, like, up the ante. Even if it's not just, times when it's just me and you or stuff like that. Even we, like, go out to an event and we, like, do a live little joint. Like, son, what you think? Because, me, I'm just
that's why I didn't
know.
That's why I was like, let me get off the couch. Like, I mean, because, the couch always aligned with somebody being like a couch potato or something like that. So it was like, now, let's get off the couch. Let's do a different scenery. Like, stuff like that. So, yeah. But my thing as far as like rebranding and stuff like that, I look at self-awareness a lot because a lot of the times people are not really self-aware or fully invested in self when it comes to rebranding. It's important to really focus on you at some point, and we oftentimes tend to lose our focus worrying about other things that does not pertain to us or doesn't even serve a purpose or benefit us in any way. You know what I'm saying? So we can always talk about, oh, this person should do this person should do that, but what about what are you doing and what is it that you have aligned with? What are your goals? What are the things that you would like to see happen in the near future, or where do you want to see yourself elevating at? Where do you want to see growth at? What areas that you feel like, you might feel like there are weaknesses or things that you can work on? But I always say, like, nobody's perfect, right? It's always just room for improvement. And that's the thing, like, because if people was perfect, they would stop doing. I reached it and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So there's always room for improvement no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So like, even down to like school, it's like, you know what? I want something different. Let me do this, But I'm the type of person that get tired easily, so I want to do something different. Or I want to maybe like switch careers or switch this or switch that. Like I get bored easily. So that's the thing. And when I get bored, sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse, because I'll be done with it and be like, all right, that's it for me. You know what I mean? So it's just more so like really just getting to the drawing board and really like putting stuff down. You might even say, you know what? Let me re-look at my finances. Let me look at what's going on here. Let me see where I can save more money. Let me see where I can invest it. Let me see, what's in the game plan. Let me see if I can try to figure out how I can make passive income. Passive income is that type of income that you really want to make when you making money and you're not even having to really be present all the time in order for the money to flow. You know what I mean? And this rebranding, really thinking about what works, what doesn't work. That's the whole beauty of it. Like, what works, what doesn't work. You know what, this ain't working. Let's try this. You know what I mean? So even down to like the podcast or whatever. I mean, we really want to talk about some real stuff, real issues. Absolutely. People that's really talking about some real life stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like stuff that's really going on personally, because oftentimes people tend to worry about other people's life and try to compare it. It's like you can't rebrand yourself if you worrying about somebody else's life or trying to do a compare and contrast. Like when you're rebranding, you're looking solely at you and solely at the things that you need to work on and adjust and incorporate or take away, add, multiply, divide, subtract, whatever it is that you need to do. You know what I'm saying? And it could be like small little changes that you might say, you know what, I want to do this. And then it's more so like when you setting goals, make them measurable. Because, you don't want to feel like you're defeated into it. So just take little baby steps, because it's going to take time to get where you need to go at the end of the day. And that's just my take on that part.
No, absolutely. And you got to really be transparent in a lot of ways in life. And so many people are so concerned about what others may think or say that they are living in fear, right? So it's extremely, extremely important to take that leap, because one thing about life, people gonna live their life. They don't care what you say, they're gonna do them, right? And but what's so crazy about that though? The people that have the most to say about others and try to dictate live a carefree life. And wish you would come over and tell them anything about what they should and shouldn't be doing. And it may be things that's detrimental to them, but they don't care. They don't want to hear it. They rather dictate and control other people's lives. So that's crazy. But I just think that when it comes down to implementing and rebranding what you want as an individual, and whatever you have on your plate already, right? I just think that you got to go through the fine tooth comb and pick out the things that's positive, because you're going to have some negatives. That's the balance in it, right? But I just feel like that's when the term work smarter, not harder, right? And being able to eliminate BS. Like, at a certain time frame, you should be able to be like, nah, I ain't with that. Nope. You know what? I knew how this went last time. I'm not going to go that route, because if I do, then this money is in the way. Or maybe a friendship is on the line. Or maybe, you know what I mean? Things can get crossed. Signals get crossed a lot like that. And that comes with growth and experience as well, because the more you know about yourself, especially if you're a person that stands on principle, and somebody do something that is totally not aligned with who you are and the things that you stand on, it takes you out of character, right? And people be thinking that it's about maybe the money or object. That's not it. It's the principle, right? And if you carry people in a certain way, you're like, well, dang, I wouldn't do that to you. So yes, I'm standing heavy on it. Yes, I'm feeling the way. Yes, I'm taking it to 150, with no breaks, because you don't understand the why. Why would you do it? And that's why I always revert back to saying that people can get along all day, right? People can have sunshine all day long, but you gotta weather those storms, because you would think there's something solid, and then something come up, and then reality check, right?
Yeah.
And then you hurt and confused, because again, all you had was fun times with these people. So you never had to encounter anything. Yeah. So now you're like, well, Dad, I thought you thought. Because the loyalty wasn't tested, the thoroughness wasn't none of that was tested yet, right? And oftentimes we are placed in positions and be around people that we normally want to be around, but because of our conditions, that's placed on us, we're in the same environment with these people. So although may have never crossed paths with you in my everyday life, but maybe a circumstance had led us to one another. It could be jail, it could be a workplace, it could be school. You know what I mean? Things like that, because if it was on my regular day life, I wouldn't deal with you. You know what I mean? You're not my speed, I'm probably not your speed, and that's cool. But oftentimes people build bonds off for similarities, or we have the same job, oh, we locked up together, and then watch when you remove that. Because look, think about it. And I know you know this, being a college graduate yourself. Sometimes you build relationships in school. Some last, and the majority don't. Mm-mm. So all of that, hey, Rich, did you do your paper? Hey, you going to lunch? Hey, we want to study together. You would think you're building a rapport with these people, right? But then you know that it was just a need at that moment, right? So people, not saying they're using, but yeah, you using me to study, I'm using you to study. We're bouncing ideas off of each other just to knock these semesters out so we can get our degree together. But once all of the smoke clear, we graduate, I don't hear from you anymore. And mind you, these could be a year, 2-year programs that you really shuffling and do college with these people. You would think that you have built a solid relationship, but that goes to show you, even down to men and women that serve prison time, they go ahead and be in a jail. And mind you, these people got a bond that people like us that never touched itself would understand. Right? They made it, got it. Oh, I got a couple things before your commissary come do that. Then I, return a favor. Or we gotta, withstand whatever these COs is throwing our way. Then we gotta live in these heated conditions on the summer months. We gotta go ahead and do extra stuff during the cold months. Then we gotta sleep on this one little cot. The outside world don't get that, but we get that, right? Mm-hmm. We in this together, and these might be some lame chicks, like. But you wouldn't know that because they want to stand 10 because of where you at. Yeah. Because of their environment. But then the crack in the foundation is creeping up slowly but surely, because there really was never no foundation there. Y'all build it off of circumstances. Mm-hmm. That's it. Because once you get outside, you see those people is not what they cracked up to be. And so that's why a lot of times, like I say, you just need to be able to, do a lot of separating. Gotta make it make sense. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, eliminate it. And that's the beauty of, maturing and learning and leading by your own experiences. Because I might put together something that works beautifully for me, but it might not align with you, right? Mm-hmm. And you may could pull certain aspects out of it, but you go like, oh damn, that ain't for me. Like, that don't work the way that it works for her. Like, dang, what am I doing wrong? But it's just for me at the moment, and it don't work for you, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just feel like it's important to rebrand. We're almost 40 years old. I know we don't look it or don't want to admit it, but we're almost 40. I'm 21, forever 21, but it is what it is, and that's being real with yourself, right now. Mm-hmm. But just seriously, like, in life, you gotta want it. You gotta want more. So that's why I felt like today, speaking about rebranding, was extremely important. Because in life, it's only what you make it. I know they always used to say it, it sounds so cliche, life is what you make it. But when you really think about
it, does
what they mean by that is what you putting in. We all got the same 24. What you putting into your 24? Yeah. You know what I mean? And I know, and this is being self-aware in myself, that I could be lax in certain things, certain areas. Things that don't play about is my money, my career, my goals, stuff like that. But I may say, you know what, Shannon, stop it. You know, there going well, you could get into that gym, you could take a walk around that block, you could do this, you could do that. You know what I mean? You could, you could be reading a little bit more. Stuff like that. And that's being somewhere and admitting those things. Like, mm-hmm. So it's like we put into what we want to put into. And not that we not aware of what we need to put things into. It just sometimes take a back seat, but in life it got to be a balance. You got to find balance in it overall, and things will run much smoother. If you think about it, it'd be so much chaos and ripping and running and trying to figure it out and trying to get to the finish line that you miss the process. You miss the lessons and the lessons in it because you just want to get to the finish line.
And that's the thing with people. They want to rush through stuff like, I wanted to happen now, I wanted to happen now, I wanted to happen now. But it's like everything is not instant gratification. And that right there lets people know how they're going to value certain things when it happens, and you're able to take a lesson out of it, whether it be a good situation or a bad situation at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And then when it comes down to certain things, like for me, I know, like if I'm not interested in it, I'm just not interested in it. Even though you be like, you know what, I need to be doing this, but right now I'm just not interested. I know eventually mentally I'm going to prepare myself to do what I need to do, regarding if you need to get in the gym or whatever the case may be. Sometimes you might not be interested in it, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it might not just be working out. You might say, you know what, I can at least do some dietary changes and make dietary changes, and say, you know what, I can eat more healthier. I can eat healthier. I could do these list of things, and maybe it'll lead up to that. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes it's okay not to be, interested in certain things. And you be like, dang, I know I gotta be doing this, but I don't know. I'm just not interested in it right now, where I can't, So you know how that go. We all know what we gotta do, but we say we doing it, but we be playing around like, oh, I'm gonna get in this gym. I'm gonna get in the gym. I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is at the end of the day. But once you're aware, that lets you know, like, all right, I'm aware. Next step, we gotta take action. Hello, you know what I mean?
Like you deal with clients, the contemplation stages.
It's like
I'm here, I'm in pray, but I'm moving over to so I get it. So it's crazy.
You got some people that's operating off of denial, right? And when I say people operate off denial, it's like more so like they don't have the ability to recognize the reality of the seriousness of the situation, and really just the raw reality of the situation. They walking around on cloud 9 and cloud 10 and not really refusing to recognize what's happening here and how serious things is happening and how things can unfold. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. And then and that's the important piece of rebranding too, because something, you can't just operate off denial. But that's, for some people, that's their coping mechanism. That's how they cope with life and how they get through certain things. You know what I'm saying? And being in denial is not reality. That's why that self-awareness piece is really, really important. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people think just because something is the norm, it's okay. Like people are used to doing something a certain way. It's not okay, because then it is like people are like scared to point out like, hey, like, that could be changed. You could do something a little different, but they so used to doing it, they're not even aware that it's not even okay. So that's just basically
that's the gist of it. See, today's topic is really like straightforward, right? You could dig it and pick it and talk about it a million ways, but the facts are the facts are the facts. Yes. And the message here today is just really like, rebrand yourself. Always feel like you need a new you. It don't have to be every 6 months, but you have to do something. Something has to be different. You gotta do something to make you feel fresh and young and revived, because we living in some crazy times.
But people rebrand themselves thinking that they could utilize materialistic things to rebrand. So that technically is not rebranding, but that's adding on to what you got going on.
Yeah, you gotta do some soul searching when I'm saying that. Like, you gotta dig in, and it's because sometimes even people with the outside that looks good doesn't necessarily mean the inside matches up. And the energy transference, like, I'm talking about all of that stuff. That stuff is extremely important. I don't like to walk into a room and there's a dark cloud, and the dark cloud isn't a person. The energy, you feel that energy, you feel those vibes, you feel the negativity. There comes a time in life where you gotta eliminate all that stuff. I don't know the age limit on it, but listen, let me tell you something. If you gotta be a certain age, even at our age, grow up. I mean, seriously.
Yes.
People that got stuff going on and really trying to enjoy life ain't got time for it. Just grow up. Do you. Like, invest in you. Rebrand you. Whether it's, you can have the 6 months rebranding, a year, every 2 years. Do it that fits for you, not what fits for others. And this is Nash signing off.
Ash signing off.
Bye-bye.